And
right?
a lot of the abuse happens on an energetic level,
It
yeah?
happens beyond the words.
So then you can't tell
you
anyone.
can't tell anyone.
Yeah.
So because this is the thing about being a highly sensitive person, because the abuse is happening beyond the words might look perfectly fine on the surface, but because it's so subtle, and you can feel something as a highly sensitive person. You can feel energy, you can feel hostility, you can feel something dark, but you can't explain it. You don't know what it is. And then you try and explain to other people who are also traumatized, and they either glaze over or they just don't get it. As you said, people who don't get it.
And then I guess that becomes like, if it happens in like a working environment, or even like I think if it happens in your relationships, yeah, you can make yourself look crazy when you start trying to explain it.
Yeah.
Because I think what happens to people is they start going, yeah, well then, when they do this and then it does that, and then they might say that, they're really happy with my work, but I know that they're not. And then when you're saying that, you can, I've had it in the past, right? I've had these situations, and then you're saying that and you're like, that doesn't sound that bad. No. So then you're like, how do I make it worse? And then you start reeling it off, and you get lost, and you start to look crazy. And then the bully and the abuser then, it's like rubbing their hands together, because you're just making yourself look crazy. Yeah.
Absolutely. And what they're doing is they just do enough to destabilize you and to trigger you. They're always looking to trigger you.
Yeah.
And so that's the thing. It's your reaction becomes the issue.
Yeah.
And they become the victim even. Suddenly they're the victim. Or you're the bully. It can get turned around when you're trying to explain yourself. So the minute you put your hand up and say something it can be very risky. And I think for highly sensitive people, we're faced with this dilemma because we sense it, and we sense there's something wrong. We either go into this people pleasing, fawning, being silenced, and becoming mute, which a lot of highly sensitive people do. They just don't say anything.
Yeah.
And I've worked with so many clients who they're peacemakers. They just keep going, but inside they die. Like they have a breakdown.
Yeah.
Or you put your hand up and you have all of this. You risk being the crazy one.